Well, folks, welcome back to the Frontier Western Heritage Channel. I'm Todd Kessner, out here at the gun range outside of Bozeman, Montana, and today I'm going to test a little pocket pistol from the Smokeless era. I would like to kind of compare the velocities and the power that we got out of the pocket pistols in the black powder era. This one's from the Smokeless era. This particular gun is a Iver Johnson Arms and Cycle Company from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and it was a post-1900 gun made to shoot smokeless powder. This gun belonged to an elderly neighbor of mine when I was growing up, a very grandfatherly-like figure, so I'm very pleased to have been able to inherit this gun. And Clayton was looking for work during the Depression, like so many other young men, rode the rails, jumped boxcars, all that kind of stuff, and was also worked in the mines in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And he always told me that he carried this because when you came out of the mine and were heading back to camp, there were bears in the area, and it was basically bear protection. Now, even as a young high school kid, looking at this gun and looking at the 32 Smith and Wesson cartridge, I don't know if Clayton thought that this would stop a bear or if he was really carrying it for self-protection against the two-legged predators and just didn't want to say that. And I don't know, but this cartridge would make a bear mad, and I kind of knew that even as a ninth grader. But that was his story, and he did carry this gun throughout the Depression, and I think it was for the self-defense factors of it, not bear protection. But that's what Clayton said. So we're gonna take a look at this, and unfortunately he's long passed away, and I haven't really done any tests with this gun before, so it'll be kind of fun. So we'll take a look at it, and let's see what kind of velocities we get out of this, and run it through our formula and see how the Smokeless 32 Smith and Wesson cartridge is going to compare to the black powder Smith and Wesson 32 cartridge. All right, we've got a 533.6. A 633.1. A 616.4. Not a change in the reading, 616.4, so that one might not have registered. And a 616.4 again. So I am not quite shooting over the top of the chronograph quite right on those last two shots. So luckily I've got a couple of extra rounds, and let's see if we can't get this thing to go from there. All right, we're back in business. Now we've got a 610.6. .1. So there's 5 different measures. Let's go ahead and fire another one. Oh, I got a couple left. I'll go ahead and fire. I'm going to try it double action this time. It is a double action revolver. .533.4. And it didn't register that time. 533.4. So same reading. Not getting it quite over that electric eye, or shooting a little erratically here. All right, let's try it double action again. 644.8. .1. 585.0. 519.5. and 619.5. Well, it looks like I got plenty of data now to run the formula and see what kind of power we're getting out of this smokeless variety of a 32 Smith and Wesson cartridge, and compare it to the black powder Smith and Wesson cartridge and see if there was any advantage one way or the other. And we'll run those calculations and compare it and see what happens. Well, I don't want to bore you to death with these calculations. I know that folks have been watching these videos, have seen these several times. But what I did is I took the first 5 velocities that registered, and I had shot a lot of rounds and had a lot of readings, and I did notice that on the high side, or really the pretty consistent, most of the shots fell within that 600 to 630 feet per second area, but every once in a while there was just a real dog that was in the lower 500s. So instead of cherry picking the best 5 velocities and artificially bumping this up, I just took the first 5 that registered. And when I averaged those first 5, I came up with 595 feet per second on average. And when I threw that into the energy formula for foot-pounds with a 85 grain bullet and that average velocity of 595 feet per second, I came up with an energy of 66.8 foot-pounds. So when I went back and compared that with our Smith and Wesson number 1.5 single action, and that was the gun that shot the black powder version, with my Iver Johnson with smokeless powder, I got 66.8 as we saw. Looking back at the Smith and Wesson 1.5, 63.4 foot-pounds of energy. So comparing those two, the difference is really negligible. And if you were a person carrying a Smith and Wesson 1.5 with black powder 32 Smith and Wesson cartridges in it, there really wasn't a huge incentive other than maybe convenience in being more modern with the smokeless powder. So the difference really wasn't much, and you weren't losing out by sticking with your black powder round. Well, folks, thanks for watching the Iver Johnson video here with the chambered and 32 Smith and Wesson. And I was just real interested to see what the comparison might be between the smokeless 32 Smith and Wesson cartridge and the black powder one that we had done before, and had a lot of fun with it. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button as well. And just want to tell you, thanks for coming. How's the lighting? How's the sound? Let me get this thing clipped on. Iver Johnson gun, and we're going to shoot it. Alright, let's try this. Maybe we got a little bit better lighting and a sound check. If I keep my face in the light a little bit like this, is it going to work? Alright folks, welcome back to the Frontier Western Heritage channel. Last sound check. Goodness gracious. What in the world?